In the early stages of the production on the famous computer animated film Toy Story were a complete nightmare. The production was in a sort of a development of hell until the infamous Black Friday incident. Disney harassed the then new animator studio Pixar constantly. They were supposed to produce and release the film, and they wanted results as quickly as possible. Disney had tried everything to eliminate Pixar's efforts to deviate from the Disney formula, even at times threatening to shut the production down. Disney sent notes on revisions that they thought that would improve the film. They insisted through the notes on all which read, "Edge. The film needs more edge." The people working on the film at the time struggled so hard to maintain all of Disney's notes and demands. Once a week, they were required to fly across the country to offer Disney offices present to them with progress. Every time they were met with the same response: "Edge. The film needs more edge." Pixar revised the film hard to tell and meet the deadlines that resulted in some rather interesting changes. In order to achieve edge, the film became a lot darker. Woody became a wildly unlikable character, much more angrier, and far less comedic than the final film. Bo Peep's role in the story was far more prevalent, often flirtatious towards the male characters, and in the first to accuse Woody of pushing Buzz out of the window. Buzz Lightyear was referred to at this point in the production as Lunar Larry. He's highly reminiscent of the older superhero, taking a deeper voice, and is more diluted and ignorant of his surroundings. The other toys were electively unchanged, save for the minor aesthetic differences. Pixar employees worked literally 24/7 non-stop. Director John Lasseter joked on more than one occasion that he had the best parking space at the office because his car hadn't moved there for 3 days. Some of the writers and the storyboard artists began to suffer from chronic insomnia. A few writers reported seeing visions of Buzz and Woody taunting them on their lack of progress, chanting, "Edge! The film needs more edge." Many of the initial writers quit due to the stress it was putting on their personal lives, much to the distress of the remaining crew. By November of 1992, there were 2 of the 5 writers left and only 1 of the 3 storyboard artists. The remaining storyboard artist was named Ralph Thompson. He joined the Pixar team in the winter of 1987, working on short films such as Tin Toy and Knick Knack. He, at the time, did some storyboard for The Nightmare Before Christmas with a fellow artist, John Ranft. Joe came down with a serious illness that he hadn't been to work in a week. Ralph was constantly in fear of being inventable a creation by Disney. Edge, the edge, more edge. Each presentation were met with 2 rows of sleepless nights of rewriting and redrawing the same characters in the same bedroom over and over again. It was maddening. One morning, John Lasseter, Andrew Stanton, and the other higher-ups at Pixar came down to the office and told everybody of what had happened at their meeting. Disney felt that things were not looking very good for the film and demanded that in less than a week, they see the complete film in story reels, storyboards with audio, the massive revisions, and there was a general groan and whining from the crew that they went back to working. Ralph worked harder than all the others involved. Sometimes at 2 in the morning, one of the writers would walk into Ralph's office with a package of newly written scenes, more to draw, and the more drawings meant more scratch voice work. When a film is still in the writing storyboard stages, artists will do temporary voices for the story reels. He had Disney's vague instructions racing through his mind. More edge, edgier. We want results, people. Edgier. This is a business. Faster. More edge. Move on already. He already thought to himself exactly. The film needed an edge, and it needed to be darker, more cynical. It needed more adult humor in situations. It needed an attitude. Of course, Ralph, you goddamn retard. How can you not see it sooner? Edge is all the hundreds of hours back over the desk, and you needed was edge. Why didn't you listen to it sooner? He gave the film an edge. The story reels were flown over to the main crew and the head offices at Disney. The date was November 27th, 1993, Black Friday. When the film was brought into the Disney screening room, the reel was about 48.5 minutes long. The film started out with a Western-style shootout between Woody and Andy, resulting in Andy being shot down. It is revealed that this was just a game he played outside of Andy's mind, as the film continued on with the little problems for about 20 minutes or so. Though several gags seemed off with the overall tone of the film. For example, Mr. Potato Head will pull one of his eyes out and kick them under Bo Peep's dress for a look-see. And there were several scenes of Woody yelling at the toys to stop caring about Buzz, Larry, and paying attention to him, culminating in the results of minor acts for the violence. The scene where Andy takes only one toy to Pizza Planet and Woody pushes Buzz out of the window. Woody offers to shake hands with Buzz, Larry, only to throw him out of the window. There was a shock smashing noise and the toys were shocked and antagonized Woody for what he has done. Woody shows little remorse and screams at Slinky Dog to make the toys stop harassing him. After much yelling, one of the Green Army men saying the word goddamn, the toys grab Woody and toss him out of the window as well. He falls into the ground with a low thump. Cheering is then heard from the interior of the house. The quality of the storyboards become much less refined and almost like chicken scratch. Woody then gets up and sees Buzz or Larry. Buzz's body was shattered on impact. His arms and legs were broken off and was located only a few inches away. There was a large crack down the middle of his chest, revealing a mess of buttons and wires inside. He gave off such of electrical twitch motion in his head. His eyes looked as if they were about to pop out of their plastic sockets. The twitching stops shortly after a few moments, as Woody looked over in fear at what he has done to Buzz and runs off. There is a jump cut scene to where the two get stuck in the claw machine. The storyboard art is back to its normal level of quality. The machine is filled with sunglasses wearing pizzas, opposed to the aliens in the Finish Mode movie. Buzz is completely unharmed and intact. The scene is almost verbatim to the final film. Sid, the antagonist, is in control of the claw. Was he wearing a yellow t-shirt and was smoking 3 cigarettes at once? The claw grabs Woody and Buzz, Larry, and putting them into the clutches of Sid. There is another jump cut once again, returning to the chicken scratch style of artwork. The scene is Sid inside of his room. Woody looks around the room in fear as he tiptoes around the room and collapses after seeing one of Sid's mutant toys. Then it cuts to a jump cut once again, an unrelated test animation of the characters running. A few seconds of Buzz or Larry running in place, a few seconds of Woody running, and nearly a minute or two of the Rum running together. The footage appears to be distorted and the Spanish text was present on the screen. It looked like clay models that got life. No friends or see. Now there comes a shot of completely naked Woody with automatically correct features. Standing in front of the black background with the trademark, the Pixar ball is rolling in the distance. The animation was now traditional animation of the typical 2D Disney film. Woody stares directly at the camera, while his flesh begins to rot away with the exception of his eyes, which remained intact. Woody then begins to moan in a low voice. What remains of his lips curl into a smile, bits of flesh peeling off. As this happens, he lifts off his decomposing arm and manually waves at the camera. His fingers now digging into his eyes. Dark blood oozes out from their sockets as Woody begins to scream and growl. Don't you want it? Don't you want it? Don't you love it? He digs so deep as he rips the entire half of his head off. Woody gives a sigh in relief and begins eating the flesh off of his skull before tossing it to his side. He writes the word edge on the screen with his rotting fingertips. The remaining 15 minutes of the reels were pencil scribbles accompanied by the shrill screams of a young woman. The word edge was burned into the projection screen. The screaming then ended in complete silence. Chairman at the Disney at the time, Jeffrey Keisenberg, walked out of the screening, quietly talking to his colleagues. Notes that were followed were the notes that were given to him. Upon returning to the Pixar offices, the writer Pete Docto found a body of Ralph Thompson in an enormous pile of paperwork of his office. Further analysis found that cause of death was a heart attack brought by a lack of sleep and stress. The papers were all in the storyboards and animation cells of the final coherent scene of Woody. while the word Edge is scrawled on top of the back of each one. The following Black Friday screening, Disney became far less involved with the film, much to Pixar's finally given the freedom to make it their film their way. The film went on to be a big success with huge credits in the box office, and at the box office, the Black Friday Day incident still today remains pretty much a mystery. There is a short bonus feature on the Toy Story Blu-ray about the incident, curiously not mentioning any notable scenes. It could be found on YouTube for anyone who is curious, who wants to whitewash history. Disney produced a short documentary to avoid discussing the incident. If you contact them about it, you'll be redirected to the Blu-ray's Amazon page, if you ever get a response at all.